Well, the journey started way back in the summer. We, had a bunch of guys that we were all trying to gel and knew that we were extremely talented, but there was a lot of work ahead of us. So, we pieced some guys in the summer. We had a couple guys out with injuries. James was one of them. Fabian Hartley was another. So piecing those guys back in after football season. Both of those are really good football players, and just along with Robottom. But once we had to mesh all those guys together, those guys came back mid-November, and so we saw at times what we were capable of throughout the season. But it was really that second St. Paul's game when we played them at home and we lost the lead late, that we realized that was a statement game for us. And we felt like at that point we had come together, our identities were established, who we were as a team was established, and we felt like, okay, now we got something to build on. And since that game, our game has just elevated. Our confidence, although it was a loss, has increased and improved. We've had multiple guys on any given night contribute offensively. We've bought in defensively on what it was going to take to be successful. And we get into the playoffs on a pretty good winning streak, playing well together. We host Bonneville, who was a really good team, and then we travel across the state, play a Captain Street team who, was a 6 seed, and we were 11. A lot of people thought it was an upset, but for these guys, they've been saying it all along that there hasn't been an opponent when we have stepped on the court that we felt like we couldn't beat. And although we do have 6 losses, it was never a time where we felt like going into the game there wasn't something we could do to win the game. And so going to Captain Street, we felt like we had a great game plan and we were going to get the job done. We felt like we were the favorite. And the same thing goes into effect when we go to Ruston and we travel, a lot of length, but we felt like there were things that these guys could do that can exploit their weaknesses, and we get the job done again. And then again tonight against Walker, going into the game, we felt like we matched up well. Never did we feel like it was going to be a landslide victory. We just felt like player for player, athletically, size-wise, style of play, we felt like we could do things to get the job done. And I saw, I think tonight we showed at times that we could be really, really good. We also showed at times of the game that, we can kick the ball around and make poor decisions. But with that, we faced a lot of adversity throughout the season, and we've been able to overcome it and stay composed. And once again, when they got that thing to 7, we were able to bounce back and maintain our composure. And unfortunately for us, we were able to get the job done. But, credit to these 2 guys next to me. They definitely came to play tonight.
Josh, you rebound about 14 and you hold them at 34% shooting. When you rebound and you play defense, you win, right?
Absolutely. So we thought coming in, obviously 14 is a heck of a player. We knew he was going to be a tough guard and make tough shots. But with that, we just wanted him to have to work. And I felt like after the first few minutes when he got some easies, even though he made shots, it was contested. It wasn't a lot of easy opportunities. We felt like rebounding-wise, we had the same athletes that they had, and I felt like as long as we didn't have to overhelp, we were going to stay in position to be able to minimize their second chance opportunities, which they do very, very well. So fortunately for us, for the most part, we were able to minimize turnovers and also minimize offensive rebounds for them, and that was really what was able to build the lead.
James, you guys really control the inside. You were a big part of that with 25 points, 10 boards. Talk about how you were able to win inside in this game.
Well, normally I'm not known as a scorer. I'm more of a defensive player, guarding other team's best player. But for some reason tonight when I walked out there, I was feeling really good, warming up out there on the court. And I didn't want to do anything that I didn't normally do. I didn't want to fall in love with the three-point line. I just stayed in the post where I'm more comfortable. And my teammates like Fabian Hartley was able to find me on most of my cuts to the basket, and it led to me being successful.
Oh, and you're a sophomore, and yet you're facing a team that's been here 5 straight years, and yet you guys look like you'd been here before.
Yes, sir. Last year as a freshman, I played a big role, stepping up and playing these good teams, starting as a freshman with me and James, and then pulling over to this year, we got a whole new starting 5, but we gelled in practice. We got found our chemistry, and we played through adversity, like Coach said, and we came together, executed, and won the game.
Coach, can you talk about the success you guys have had on the road this year and sort of that edge that you and your team has really embraced these past few weeks?
Absolutely. So we've played quite a few road games this year. We traveled to Carver. We played Newman at a neutral site. We played De La Salle, Jesuit, St. Paul's on the road. Slaughter's a hostile environment. I know Hammond had a record with forfeits, but they're a 22-10 team with a great point guard and a 6'7" inside. We played some really good teams on the road, and they've had a lot of success. And our guys, they have the ability to have highlights. because they're very talented and they're very athletic. But sometimes when we're at home, our crowd sometimes causes us to make decisions that, as a coach, I don't always agree with. So some of that has to do with that. Also, I feel when we're on the road, these guys, they gel together on the bus. They really enjoy each other's company. They're telling their parents they want to ride back on the bus after games instead of making the easy route and taking the bus or taking the car rides home. Like, they really enjoy each other's company, and I feel when we're traveling together, it's an opportunity for them to continue to gel and lock in together, and that's been their term for the last few weeks, is make sure we're locked in, and it's really carried over into the road. So I feel just the time that we're spending on those bus rides, allows us to get into the zone and eliminate distractions and be more focused leading up to the game.
Bigger challenge next. Zachary, talk about that.
So obviously Zachary. We've seen him a couple times live this year. I know as an 11 seed, it seems like it might be like a Cinderella story, but for us, we've been watching Zachary all year. We feel like, that's the benchmark, and we've been practicing and working and preparing for this opportunity. We've never looked past an opponent. In the playoffs, I've never talked about the next game. But as a coach and as a team and as players, they've been aware of Zachary for a long time. They're familiar with one another. And Zachary obviously is a defending state champion, and as you saw tonight, they're going to be a tough task. But once again, the mentality of our guys, he said it the other day in the interview, you have to show me. If there's a better team than us, show us. But the mentality that they have is we can't be beat. And so the way we're playing right now, it's going to be a tough task. They're very athletic, they're well coached, they're disciplined, they're experienced. But as you saw tonight, we're the same. And so we're looking forward to the challenge Saturday night.